So good morning everyone, and guys, welcome to your another important session regarding the government schemes. So guys, as day before yesterday, we have discussed a very important session. We have taken a very important session on Ask Me Anything on government schemes, where we have discussed that what should be the right approach towards preparing for the government schemes. And I tell you one thing very important here, that if you are preparing for government schemes, the most important thing is make a storyline with you. That storyline is very important because that will give you a practical idea about that specific scheme. So guys, from now onwards we will be discussing about the schemes in the storyline formation. Okay, so I have already discussed two important ministries, that is Ministry of MSME and Ministry of Finance with you guys. And today, as you guys have demanded, so we are now starting with a very important next important ministry, that is Ministry of Rural Development. And if I talk about this specific ministry, obviously if you guys are preparing for NABARD, FCI or any other agriculture related examinations, guys, this ministry is very important. And if you guys are preparing for RB examination, then also I will say they are very important, because that focuses on the core perspective of agriculture as well as from the social justice perspective also. These schemes are very important for the examination. So I welcome you all to today's session. So good morning Aditya, Gurkirat, Shalini, good morning everybody. And guys, I will be waiting for just few seconds more. So if you have your friends, near and dear ones who wants to understand the scheme, guys, in a better way, you can share the link with them also, so that they can also join and take the benefit of this specific scheme here. Okay ji, and do let me know quickly in the chat section, Shalini, Gurkirat, that whether my voice is clear to you guys are able to hear me properly. Please give me a quick confirmation on that also. Okay ji, so I got a confirmation that yes, my voice is audible to all of you. So let's proceed with today's scheme, that is the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Now if you look at just from the name of the scheme, what the scheme is saying, that is we have to make sadak. Sadak matlab kya hota hai? Sadak is road, which means road connectivity. Then it is talking about gram. Gram means rural area. So from the name itself we get to know that the scheme is talking about somehow about a road connectivity in the rural areas. Okay, so from now let's try to understand it in a storyline formation here, where we have seen two different sort of images here. What these images are depicting, I want this thing from you guys here. So let's start with the first part, the first image here. Can you tell me what this image is depicting? This is the image which is telling us that why we want this scheme. So based on this specific image, we will be making some questions with regards to the storyline formation here. If you look at the India perspective here, guys, what is the problem? The problem is we have some areas which are like the desert areas, I would say left wing extremist areas, or somehow some border area. Sorry. Okay, so these are some these are the areas. And what is the main issue in these areas is that the rural areas of these specific places, look at this image, these areas are not having a proper connectivity. Government said what we want to achieve from this specific scheme is that in these areas we want to make a road connectivity. Can you tell me what is the first difference we are pointing out here? What is the main difference you guys are pointing here? I want all of you to come here to start thinking about that thing, because that is the sole objective of this session. So Shalini, Gurkirat, Aditya, can you guys tell me what is the main difference we are witnessing here? Anyone? Lack of infrastructure, no connectivity, obviously right, lack of infrastructure, no proper connectivity. Here we are getting a better infrastructure, but what is the main difference? Can anybody tell me? थोड़ा सा शालिनी और सोचो, थोड़ा सा और सोचो, क्या हो सकता है? Little bit more. What is the major difference we guys are seeing here? Infra and road, obviously infra and road is one thing here, but what's the main difference? Main difference here is if you look at the road here, and if you look at the road here, because we are talking about Gram Sadak, this is a all weather road, which is known as Pakka roads, all weather connectivity roads. That is the sole objective of the scheme, that in this area the problem is we want to provide a all weather connectivity road. So I hope from these two images that are in your mind, you got to understand your first important thing that you need to know about this specific scheme is, that is, we want to provide a connectivity, but that connectivity would be the all weather connectivity roads are going to be provided here. Okay. So now let's talk about the next important things that we need to know here. We are providing all weather road connectivity to these areas here, but in these areas, in which area we are providing here? We are providing waiting. The first question that is coming to my area is it only rural area, and is it covering every road of rural area? We talk about unconnected people. So first of all, let's try to understand unconnected inhabitants. Who are them? Then the important thing that is important here is, after unconnected inhabitant is center the sole person, or is it taking help from state also? Then in terms of roads and their connectivity, how these roads will be constructed, because if we talk about this specific area of rural areas we are talking about here, the rural areas, the roads, we have a far more area, far more left-wing extremist areas, we have border areas, we have desert areas. There is a huge amount of area here. So how we are going to provide connectivity there? If we are providing connectivity, let's say in phases, so is there any difference between a phase, or we have to understand the upgradation process of these phases? Then here is the basic thing about who is responsible here. Then my next question, because we have just talked about the roads here, is it a concrete road or any other sort? That is my next question here. My next question, that was anyone wants to ask a question, anyone wants to add some question here. Maintenance. Because these roads needs maintenance also. So who is going to give you maintenance here in terms of these roads here? Any other question, guys? Maintenance is there. Anyone, any other question? I want now, Shivangi is here, Shubham is here, Aditya is here, Ankit is here. So I want all of you guys to ask, to make a question with regards to this specific scheme. Based on these two images that you are seeing, this is what was the condition here. This is what the government wants to do here. Anyone wants to add some question? Very important thing. How you are going to target this thing? Target with respect to some phases. So do you have some certain sort of target? Okay, any other thing? Budget outlay, because budget outlay I will say it will not be most important for all the scheme. ठीक है जी. Timeline with regards to phases is important. Target, I would say target timeline of a phases. Tracking, absolutely right. How you are going to track these routes? Tracking of the progress, very, very important thing. Anything else? So these are the questions you have in your mind. Okay. So let's try to solve your questions one by one now. So when this scheme was there, because if I talk about the rural connectivity, what is the sole objective? Because rural connectivity will help in the development of that specific place. So that is how the Minister of Rural Development came with the scheme of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, where the objective is to provide connectivity to the unconnected habitants. But what is the sole objective here? Why we want to provide a connectivity is my first question. Why we need a connectivity here? सोचो अपने दिमाग में, ये मैं क्वेश्चन एक्सपेक्ट करता आप सब पूछोगे कि सर why we need a connectivity? Why we need an all weather connectivity there? What is the reason for all weather connectivity? One of the reasons that the government has sorted, the broader objective was in poverty reduction strategy, because obviously when you have an infrastructure, you will get more and more infrastructure there. Second thing is the persons will have the, I can say सारी चीजें उनके पास होंगी. They will have access to more things. They will have access to banking facilities. They will have access to more and more food facilities. They will have access to the bigger cities. Getting my point? So that is how the government launched a scheme with a broader objective where we want to provide connectivity to the unconnected habitations. Okay, and we will be discussing further on also what are these unconnected habitations first of all. Then comes the next important thing. Okay, because this is a broader objective, so how the government is going to target this objective? Government said, I am a simple thing, I will take a help of the state government, so I will make it a central sponsored scheme, because it's not the purpose of development by the both state and center here. So that is how it's a central sponsored scheme. It's a normal things will be normal here, 60-40, normal cases 90-10 in northeastern and 100% for UTs. That's the normal funding pattern here. But along with that, because it's an initiative launched by the government with a broader objective, so government has taken a help from the international institutions also, and for that purpose World Bank has come forward. So World Bank said that I would be supporting this initiative because that is serving the larger target audience of the India. So we are supporting. So this is supported by, it's a central sponsored scheme supported by the World Bank from its beginning, that is in the year 2000. Okay, but now if you are writing an answer here with regards to the Gram Sadak Yojana, you have this image in your mind, you know the connectivity is provided to the unconnected habitations, and that is how you could write this thing. क्या कर रहे हैं? Gram Sadak Yojana को हम use कर रहे हैं. Now comes my next first question that I have written here. Is it constructing a road? And I have written here one question more also is it connecting only rural areas or every road in rural area? Because that's a difference here. We are targeting about rural road connectivity, but is it covering only rural roads? Every road in rural area? That's the question here. And for that purpose, when the government said, let's try to understand. Because there are national highways going through the rural areas also. So are we covering those also? There are major rural link roads that are also connecting the bigger villages. There is 4-lane roads connecting from the rural areas. Are all this part of Gram Sadak Yojana? Question comes na, यही तो क्वेश्चन है. कौन सी rural road? Which rural road? That is how the government gave us an idea. Government gives us a clarity here. Government said we would be covering single road connectivity to the rural areas. Single road connectivity. And you can see here in our image that we are seeing single road connectivity. No 4-lane, nothing. Single road connectivity to the rural areas. I hope the first point is clear. Which rural roads? Now they are accepting no urban roads excluded, and even the roads which are covering the major rural link roads, state highways, national highways, if they are going to rural areas, they are not part of Gram Sadak Yojana. They are covering only village roads or the other district roads here. So clear about this scheme. First point clear everybody guys, that which roads we are targeting under the Gram Sadak Yojana. ये रूरल एरियाज, बट रूरल एरियाज में कौन सी हैं? जो विलेज रोड्स और अदर डिस्ट्रिक्ट रोड्स है. क्लियर एवरीवन? सो दैट इज द फर्स्ट पॉइंट. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन ऑफ आवर इज आंसर. तो स्टोरी लाइन का मतलब ही है कि हम अपने क्वेश्चंस को आंसर निकाल रहे हैं. तो फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज क्लियर बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. देन लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द सेकंड पार्ट हियर. Now, when we are launching any scheme, guys, it's a broader perspective. So, government cannot take this scheme in one go. So, government has again discussed with many bureaucrats, सबके साथ discussion हुआ होगा. तो government उसके बाद क्या बोला कि अच्छा, what we should do? We should now focus on the phases target. Let's try to cover this scheme in a phased manner here. So till now, the 4 phases of Gram Sadak Yojana have been incorporated by the government of India, where the first phase was talking about the basis of the scheme. That is, we want to provide an all-weather road connectivity to the unconnected habitations. That is the first thing. All-weather accessible road is provided to the unconnected habitation. Now, what is the unconnected habitation? That is being defined here. The unconnected habitation means the population, the areas where there is a population of up to 500, we want to provide a road connectivity till that part. In the northeastern region, if there is a population of 250 people living in that specific habitation, we want that place to be connected. That is the known as unconnected habitations. Clear about this part, guys? And further, if I elaborate about the unconnected habitations, it says people of 500 or more with a 1.5 kilometer of path distance. ठीक है, अगर मैं बात करूं located at a distance of 500 kilometer, ठीक है जी, and 1.5 kilometer of path distance in hill areas, and if they do not have an all connectivity road, that is the sole objective here. That is the sole objectivity here. And habitation is the, if I talk about है कि roads connectivity, कहां से आपने सोचा, habitation is the sole criteria to identify the roads. Neither revenue villages, nothing else. Habitation, लोगों के बारे में हमें पता होना यहाँ पे चाहिए. ठीक है जी. So this is how first of all government identifies the areas: unconnected habitations, desert areas, tribal areas, backward areas. Then further on, government extended the scheme to the left wing extremist areas also. So this was our initial target: backward district, desert areas, I would say unconnected habitations. And then we talk about the left wing extremist regions, for which again the government kind of reduced, or if I talk about here, population size was reduced here. So here the population ranges from 100 to 249. That is the sole objective, is let's connect the last mile connectivity. That is, providing the last mile connectivity is a kind of a motto of this scheme. So this is the basic criteria. Let's start with the basic part. कि पहले roads तो बनाने शुरू करें. Okay. Then in the year 2013, government extended, or government has launched the second phase. For example, you are using the mobile phones, so you might know that there are upgradations being done in your mobile phones also. Upgradation done in your apps also, version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4. What is the sole objective of these versions? Is to provide you better facility. And the sole objective of launching new phases in the scheme is, or updation in the scheme is, that the government might have faced some issues also na, while implementing this phase. तो government ने क्या किया, उसको थोड़ा सा enhance किया in the second phase. Then from second phase, when first and second phase was implemented, government started with the third phase, and then now the government introduced the fourth phase. So what the government has done is, फिर government ने बोला, we will now upgrade the 50,000 kilometer of existing rural road network. Now upgradation, because here is connectivity, here is upgradation. Let's upgrade them, the 50,000 kilometer of existing rural roads, ठीक है जी, to selected throughputs and major rural roads. अब आपने किया क्या है? First of all, let's say it's a village. First you have connected the villages. Now there might be a linking road also, linking road to another village. So now what you're doing is, you are now linking the villages. Throughput road, rural linkage. This is what the government has done in second phase. Let's now link the roads with the major rural links and the throughput roads here. Okay. चलो जी, अब आते हैं further on. ठीक है. So what are the throughput roads? Let me give you a brief idea here. Throughput roads are catering to large population. ठीक है. Their simple mean is large population connecting over a large area. ठीक है. जहां से जैसे जैसे अब हुआ क्या है, छोटे छोटे गांव से लोग आ रहे हैं, दे आर कनेक्टेड टू अ मेजर रोड. अगेन इट्स अ वन सिंगल लाइन रोड, थ्रूपुट रोड्स. ठीक है. ट्रैफिक फ्रॉम स्मॉलर रोड्स are collected and being circulated. So this is the second phase, expanding the thing, connecting with the throughput roads here. So clear about the first and second phase, guys? First and second phase clear हो गया? Because that is the sole objective. First and second phase is clear, done. It's a very very important scheme. If you know the crux of the scheme, you will be able to understand. तो हमने पढ़ा क्या, देखो कितना बड़ा स्ट्रक्चर गवर्नमेंट ने बनाया. Connect, expand. Now comes the third part of the scheme, because slowly and slowly, if you see from 2000 onwards, now we have reached 2013. And then what's the next important target the government has? Let's connect these people to Grameen markets. Let's connect these people to the hospitals. And for that part, the government upgraded this part into the third phase. So the third phase of the scheme launched in the year 2019. Now here what we are doing is, again we are expanding, connecting 1,20,000 kilometers of existing rural roads, ठीक है जी, by basically upgrading, by upgradation of this existing through routes and major rural link roads. अब आप कर क्या रहे हो? You are connecting them to the Grameen agriculture markets, higher schools and hospitals. So you might have seen many films in, I could say, the South Indian films, many Hindi film industries. You might have seen many films where one of the initial thing in the character was seen is that a person used to come in his village and he says कि मेरे गांव से स्कूल जाना या हॉस्पिटल जाना बहुत बड़ी बात है, कैसे जाओगे? कनेक्टिविटी नहीं है. There is no connectivity. That is something, if you might have seen many old movies of Hindi movies, there is one basic criteria that is always used to be there, that there is no road connectivity or no connectivity to the higher institutions are there. गवर्नमेंट ने वही स्कीम मूवी देखी होगी और गवर्नमेंट ने इस मूवी को आपको यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट ने बोला ये भी कर दो. Let's provide now further connectivity to the Grameen agriculture markets and hospitals. Now see, earlier the two phases were already being completed, Gram Sadak Yojana 1 and Gram Sadak Yojana 2. Now we are again updating the scheme. So there might be some criteria here also ना, कि क्या पहले और दूसरे काम हो रहा है? Because some of you have said about in the meeting, said let's try to mobilize this thing, let's try to see that whether the things that we have done earlier, is it being done or not. तो यहां पे यही चीज चेक की गई. गवर्नमेंट सेड वी विल बी प्रोवाइडिंग द फंड्स फॉर न्यू कंस्ट्रक्शन, बट देयर इज अ कंडीशन टू दैट. न्यू कंस्ट्रक्शन विल बी गिवन, ठीक है जी, बट ओनली एज अ पार्ट ऑफ अपग्रेडेशन ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट. देयर इज न्यू कंस्ट्रक्शन विल बी अलाउड बट एज अ पार्ट ऑफ अपग्रेडेशन हियर, बट बिकॉज इट्स, आपने यहां पे भी रोड बनाई, यहां पे बनाई, अब आप उसको अपग्रेड कर रहे हो, यू आर अपग्रेडिंग दिस थिंग. ठीक है. सो फर्स्ट थिंग इज अपग्रेडिंग. Now for this new construction, you are upgrading the thing, you need some sort of thing that from where you will be able to understand, okay, that let's make this roads, let's upgrade this road. No, the point for that is you will make a district rural road plan. District rural road plan will be considered as a basis for this upgradation, and further on the government said we will just be providing the new construction or upgradation will be done only after when your earlier targets of Gram Sadak Yojana 1 and 2 have been completed. So government says, what's the target here? Your sanctioning of work, which means the states, whatever the sanctioning of project has to be done under Gram Sadak Yojana 1 and Gram Sadak Yojana 2 have to be there. 100% sanctioning of the project should be there. And out of this 100% sanctioning, 90% of the length should be completed. Clear about this part or not? Because this is a very interesting line, and guys, this is something we need to understand. If you are not able to understand, do let me know in the chat section. Let me just repeat this part here. For example, I give you another example. For example, let's take an example of Punjab. Okay, Punjab is the state. So Punjab said we have 75 projects which will be sanctioned under Gram Sadak Yojana 1 and 2. Our length of total project is 1000 kilometer for the 75 projects. If they want to now apply for the upgradation of these specific roads under the Gram Sadak Yojana 3, what they have to do is, first of all, for application of this thing, district rural road plan will be made, and this has to be 100% sanctioned. So government must make sure that these 75 projects are 100% sanctioned, because this is again a thing we used to see in our गवर्नमेंट प्रोमिसेस। क्या होता है, प्रोजेक्ट ही सैंक्शन नहीं होते, बस बने जाते हैं। एंड आउट ऑफ दिस लेंथ 90%, which means 900 kilometer of this length should be done, should be awarded here. Got that point? So this is how this scheme, the construction will be done here. And now another important thing. Let me make that, let's say Punjab is playing a smart here. Punjab said, okay, we have sanctioned this project, 900 kilometers completed, and this is just a road which is constructed a year ago. Please sanction me money. Please give me the money. I want to upgrade this project. Now, if you look at this part here, फिर तो गवर्नमेंट के पास पैसा ही नहीं आएगा, गवर्नमेंट बोलेगी बनाई जाओ, कैसे? Government made an additional condition here. What is the additional condition? Government said no road would be undertaken under this Gram Sadak Yojana 3 before completion of 10 years of that road. Clear about this part? कि 10 साल की आपकी कंप्लीशन होगी तभी हम आपको वो प्रोजेक्ट अलॉट करेंगे, ठीक है? एंड इट सेज मेंटेनेंस ऑफ ओल्ड रोड इज नॉट कवर्ड, बिकॉज यू कुड सिंपली से आई एम अपग्रेडिंग दैट रोड एंड यू आर जस्ट मेंटेनिंग द ओल्ड रोड. दैट कैन ऑल्सो बी डन ना, बिकॉज मैंने बोला मेंटेनेंस करनी है, आई वॉन्ट टू अपग्रेड दिस रोड एंड आई एम जस्ट डूइंग मेंटेनेंस ऑफ दिस रोड, which is a major scam you used to see in the newspapers also. Clear about this part of this third phase also, guys, that how we are now moving, enhancing our part. We are now upgrading the existing road infrastructure here. So now from the first and second phase, the third phase, then this year, the previous year of 2024, the fourth phase of Gram Sadak Yojana 4 was introduced. Because if you look at the first two phases, their deadline was September 2022. That was the deadline. And for third phase, the deadline was 24-25. And then government enhanced this part, and now the government launched the latest version, the fourth phase of the scheme, that is from 2024-25 to 28-29, where now a construction of 62,500 kilometers of roads will be done. And I would say this construction target is important now. 62,500 kilometers of road will be constructed, and 25,000 habitations which are not connected earlier would be connected here. Okay, ji. It will also now under the phase 4. Now what we are doing is, because we said we are connecting, we are working on the road infrastructure. So here the government now decided that let's try to incorporate the international standards of road making here. Because we have seen that they are providing all weather and unconnected roads here, but वहां पे क्या होता है, मेंटेनेंस बहुत करनी पड़ती है, रोड्स टूट बहुत नहीं है. तो गवर्नमेंट ने बोला लेट्स प्रोवाइड देम अ international road construction benchmarks should be used here, where we will use waste plastic method, panel cement method, coal method here, where in the coal construction or in the coal constructed road we will be using waste plastic, so that the strength of the road could be maintained. Okay, we will be using fly ash technology also, so you do not need to remember these technologies, but just have an idea that international road benchmark constructions would be used here. ठीक है जी. And the planning detailed project report that would now be upgraded on the PM Gati Shakti portal. Clear on this part? That government would be facilitating, or preparation will be done through the PM Gati Shakti portal. This is what again we are discussing about the transparency here. So government slowly and slowly, you can see from 2002 onwards, government is now starting focusing on the transparency also. The things whether we are doing it right or wrong. So this is how the 4 phases of the Gram Sadak Yojana have been incorporated by the government of India here. Now let's move further. कि इसके अलावा गवर्नमेंट ने क्या बोला? मैंने आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि मेंटेनेंस कौन करेगा? We have discussed the question who will be maintaining these roads. The maintenance, as we have discussed in Gram Sadak Yojana 3, that Gram Sadak Yojana 3 is not covering maintenance, which means Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana is not doing maintenance. Maintenance is going to be done by the state government here. अगर आप प्रोजेक्ट लिख जाए तो आपको मेंटेनेंस कौन करेगा? स्टेट गवर्नमेंट करेगा. वेयर इनिशियली स्टेट गवर्नमेंट विल बी एग्रीइंग इनटू एन एग्रीमेंट विद मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ रूरल डेवलपमेंट फॉर 5 years at the time of construction of the road. At the time of construction of the road, state governments will ensure that for 5 years they will be maintaining that state, and after that further 5 years routine maintenance will also be done at periodic renewal intervals. So which means further your renewal of agreements will be done, and state government will be renewing और state government will be looking at the maintenance of the roads here. So maintenance वाला काम कौन कर रहा है? State कर रहा है. अब मैंने आपसे एक चीज और पूछी थी, who will be allocated the funds here? So many students were asking me a question here. That's a funding allocation is the important part here. But the question should be little bit pointed towards this thing, that whom now the government will be allocating the fund. Because if it is state government, will it be allocated to state government? Will it be allocated to the gram panchayats? Because we are talking about the village roads here. So grams के पंचायत के पास पैसा जाता है. Government make one thing clear here, that money will not be, funds are not allotted for a gram panchayat here. Funds are not allotted. Either it also says we will not permit repair to black topped or cement roads. तो वो भी state government कर रहा है. Now for this purpose, because the funds are not allotted to gram panchayats, what the government is doing is, government said we will now be executing, we will create an agency, that is National Rural Infrastructure Development Agency, NRIDA. So National Rural Infrastructure Development Agency will come into force and they will be monitoring and executing this process. So आपने वो जो ग्राम पंचायत में लिंकेजेस का डर होता है कि खुद के घर बनेंगे, खुद की रोड्स बनेंगी, वो खत्म ही करती है. ठीक है? So clear about this part here, and maintenance would be responsibility of state. And now further on, for making more transparent process here, government has launched this e-mark portal where it will be implementation for the maintenance and completion of the roads structure here. That would be, information would be provided on the e-mark platform here. So clear about this scheme of Gram Sadak Yojana, guys. ठीक है? शुभम, शिवांगी, अंकित, गुरुराज, प्रवीण, guys, is it clear to everybody here? Because मैंने बहुत ही आराम से समझाई है आपको स्कीम in this thing where we have started from this thing. That from here to here, it is not just simply we are connecting a road. Transparency, monitoring, everything we have discussed in this thing. The questions that we have, only rural roads we discussed. Yes, it will be provided in rural areas, but it will not be covering every road of rural area, because national highway roads, major rural link roads, throughput roads, they will not be covered here. Then comes the next important thing, unconnected habitations. We have discussed about that thing also. 500 persons in plain areas, 250 persons in special areas, and 100 to 249 that will be in the left wing extremist areas, and in hilly areas it is saying 1.5 kilometer का आपका area हो गया. ठीक है जी. How these roads are going to be constructed, that we have discussed in different phases. The roads will be constructed. First of all, we are providing road to the all weather road connectivity. Secondly, we are in second phase, we are upgrading the schemes or upgradation of the existing rural road network to the major rural link or the throughput roads. We are connecting them. Then in third phase, we are further connecting these roads to the Gramin agriculture markets. 1,25,000 kilometers of roads will be expanded, that would be connected to Gramin agriculture markets, higher secondary schools, hospitals here. Then further on, in the fourth phase, what we have decided is we will be constructing a latest 62,500 kilometers of road will be constructed, or will be constructed जहाँ पे हम लोग now we are here connecting the 25,000 unconnected habitations which are still not being connected by, under this specific scheme here. Then in Gram Sadak Yojana 3, we have discussed that no maintenance will be done here. Funds will be given for newly construction of an upgradation of as an upgradation to a project here. ओके, न्यूली कंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए पैसा मिलेगा आपको, रिपेयर के लिए पैसा नहीं मिलेगा. देन ब्लैक टॉप्ड सीमेंट्स, रिपेयर वर्क, पैच वर्क, द मनी इज नॉट गिवन अंडर दिस स्पेसिफिक स्कीम. मनी इज गिवन टू दी नॉट ग्राम पंचायत, इट इज बीइंग इंप्लीमेंटेड बाय द नेशनल रूरल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट एजेंसी हियर, NRIDA. Maintenance of the roads will be done by the state government here. So this is my second question here, who is going to maintain? Maintenance हमने पढ़ा है state government. Now connectivity I have already discussed, timeline tracking I have already discussed, e-mark portal will be done for the tracking of the projects here. Okay ji, so these are questions that you all have in your mind when we started the scheme, and I hope every doubt of ours is resolved from this specific scheme. Okay, so I hope you are now able to write this scheme in terms of your objective part or your descriptive part. You will now be able to, you know now the basics of the scheme, and I hope you will be able to do well in this scheme also. Okay, so is it clear? So I have just received that okay, this is clear. And guys, also do let me know that whether you are liking the storyline formation, whether you feel that okay, now you are kind of relating to this project. ठीक है, whether you felt a sort of relation here, आपको लग रहा है कि आपके सामने चीजें हो रही है और मजा, थोड़ा सा मजा आया है, तो डू लेट मी नो अबाउट दैट ऑल्सो. ठीक है जी, कि मजा आया आपको स्टोरी लाइन पढ़ के? डू यू फील गेट इन्वॉल्व्ड इन द स्कीम? यस और नो? डू लेट मी नो अबाउट दैट ऑल्सो. Okay, do you feel that you are getting involved in the scheme? Okay, and if you are getting involved, guys, on that note, please do let me know about this homework question. So tell me in the comment section what should be the answer for this specific question on Gram Sadak Yojana. Which of the given statements are incorrect in terms of Gram Sadak Yojana? Okay. Supported by World Bank, absolutely right. Okay. Chaliye. So this is your homework question, guys, and now if you are really liking this series, guys, so please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also share the video with your friends also, so that they can also take the advantage or the benefit from these videos. Okay, and for the PDF, guys, you can subscribe to our Telegram channel, the link for which is given in the description below. ठीक है, और आपके माइंड में कुछ भी आ रहा है कि आपको स्टोरी में मजा आ रहा है, स्टोरी में हम slowly we will be improving as per the schemes are going. So definitely नई स्टोरीज पढ़ेंगे, नई चीजें पढ़ेंगे. What I want from you is, guys, whenever we are making a story line, na, do write these keywords, because at the time of revision, the keywords, the questions that we are writing in a form of story will be really helping in form of the, I would say that will really help you in terms of revision. Okay, and now if you still have any sort of doubt, guys, you can ask me a doubt. I'm here for a minute. Otherwise, what you guys can do is just drop me an email on our email ID, that is hello@edutap.co.in, or can have a call with me on the number that is 8146207241. Now, guys, any doubt if you have, you can ask me a doubt here. Okay, so I can say there is no doubt at this point of time, guys. So on that note, I will be leaving you for today, and will be meeting you on Friday with the next session on important government schemes of the Ministry of Rural Development. Till then, I would say keep working hard, keep preparing hard.